Alright, so let's talk about what an htaccess file is. Essentially, it allows you to create and modify rules for a specific directory. Essentially, if we go back to our VS Code here, you'll see that we want to run, you'll see the index file. Well, what we want to do is we want to run absolutely everything through this file. So we want to be able to access our app, all the different folders, config, core. We want to be able to access every file from our index file. Even though we'll be working in different files, it's still going to run through our index file. And the way we do that is we can use an htaccess file. And if we just take a look at that website I had up earlier, this goes into detail when to use, when not to. It goes into detail about like what an htaccess is and how it all works. I'm not going to go over this in detail. Instead, I'm going to write out an htaccess file, and honestly, I've already got one up right here. So I'm just going to copy and paste everything here, and I'm going to create an htaccess file in our public folder. So essentially we turn on our rewrite engine that actually like makes this htaccess file do things. Then we create 3 conditions, and in fact I can get rid of this config core right here, and so this will allow us to access our assets and our robots if we have any robots, which right now we don't, but we may add them later, we may not. And then what this does is it sets it equal to this $1 variable. And then in our rule, I honestly have no idea what this actually does, but it goes into our index.php and then sets the variable. And so if we go here, all we need to know is that now if we type in anything except for assets, so ASDF or whatever, it still routes it in the index, and we can do anything we want after this. /1 / and actually the way we'd normally be using this, and all this does is it lets us create pretty URLs. So for instance, let's say that we want to view a post, so we do post, and then we do an ID, and this ID is like E437D, whatever, a bunch of stuff. Essentially, we would then access this ID from the URL, but it would still be routed into our index file. And that's exactly what we want, and that's what that rewrite file does. Now, next up, I'm going to open up a GitHub desktop, the app here, and I'm just going to create a new repository. And I'm going to call this, we'll do CMS MVC, and I'm going to choose to initiate this with the README. I'm going to select this CMS MVC folder. And, or you know what, actually, since I don't want to create a new folder inside this, I'm just going to initiate it like this. That way it's pointed there, and it, even though the file already, the folder already exists, it'll just create the required files in there. I'll create a .ignore later, and I'm just going to put this under an MIT license. I'm going to create the repository and publish the repository. And then once this publishes, we're going to take a look at it on GitHub. So as you can see, it's already got this public folder, which has our index and htaccess. Now, it's not going to actually grab the other folders until we create files inside of them. But once we start creating files, we can go back to this GitHub desktop periodically and save this to our GitHub. Let me double check and see if this GitHub was made public. Settings. And you know what? Actually, I will come back and I'll do this later. I'll make sure that this is public later on. Close out of that. And I'll go back to the repository, double check, make sure that it's actually it's actually public, so that way you can look at the source code and look at the comments that are made after every video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.